Hello to all my foodies out there. We are back with another recipe. I am still continuing with Baking Yesteryear this week, but I am still holding off on the pork cake. Um, it is still a little bit too warm here to be running the oven for like an hour and a half. Um, so I am still waiting on that recipe. I will get to it eventually. I just can't say when at this point, hopefully soon. Um, but today instead we are baking the chocolate potato cake, which is the recipe following the Admiral's gingerbread, which I did last week. Um, I've never made a potato cake before, so I am excited to try this. So let's get started. All right, so for this cake, we've got a potato here. I am using just one kind of smaller potato. I called for half of a medium-sized russet potato. I'm just going to use the small one. If I have extra potato, um, I'll eat it, put it in something else, find something to do with it. It won't go to waste or anything, but I thought that was going to be good. In here, I've got cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Got milk, butter, eggs, sugar, flour, baking powder, walnuts, and then in here we've got some grated semi-sweet chocolate. And then I do have my pan all greased and buttered. I have my oven preheating. So the first thing we are going to do is cook our potatoes. So I'm going to get some water, clear off my stovetop here and get some water boiling for that, and I will be back. Alright, so I got my water boiling. While I was waiting on that, I did dice up my potatoes. It's washed and diced. So I'm going to add the potatoes in my water, and we're going to just let them cook a little bit. When these are done, I will be back. Alright, so my potatoes are done and cooked. I do have them mashed up. We are going to add in our milk now and get that all mixed up together. I am going to take out some of the skins that are floating in there. The recipe did say not to peel the potatoes and everything, but I really don't want these skins in my cake, so I am going to take those out before mixing this in with the rest of the cake. I'm going to do that really quick, and then we will be back. Alright, so I have my butter and sugar all beat together. We are going to add in the eggs. I'm going to get that mixed up together, and I will be back. Alright, so my eggs are now mixed in with my butter and my sugar. We are going to add the potato mixture here. I am going to get this all mixed up and I will be back. Alright, so I've got that all mixed in together. I gotta say, I really hope this turns out good because right now this does not look that good at all. But we'll see how this turns out. I'm not liking the looks of the texture of this, but I'm hoping it'll be okay. So in here, I did mix together the spices, the baking powder in with the flour, and we're going to get that mixed in with the rest of our ingredients. I have to say, so far, I am not particularly crazy about making this cake. It has been a lot of work, a lot of steps. It hasn't been horrible or anything, but it has been more work than a normal cake. So as of right now, I don't know how often I will make this just because of all the steps involved in it. Um, Having to grate up all that chocolate this morning was very time consuming. Um, Having to cook the potato and everything. Um, if it is amazing and super good and everything, I will make it again, but it would have to be really, really good for me to make this on a regular basis just because of the work involved in it. And it's not like it's been hard, it's just been lengthy, I guess. So I do have that mixed in. We are going to mix in our chocolates and our walnuts. Now, um, I guess it just really wasn't what I was expecting out of this cake. Um, I wish there was some shortcut for the chocolate because if I could have a shortcut for the grated semi-sweet chocolates, I would be more inclined to make this just because I do think it took me a good half hour, 45 minutes or so to grate up the chocolate that I needed for this recipe, which is honestly the main reason why I feel like I'm not going to make this again, or if I do make it again, I'm not going to make it a lot. But okay, well, that's mixed up together, and my batter does look better now that I've got the rest of the ingredients all mixed up with it. For a while there, it was looking really unappetizing, but it does look better now. I am going to get this in my pan and pop this in the oven, and I will be back. All right, so I do have my cake mix in my pan. I am going to put this in the oven, and we are going to let it bake. There is an icing that goes over this. I will start that in a little bit. I kind of want to get cleaned up a little bit first before I start the icing. When I get ready to start that, I will show you what's in it and we will go through that. But for now, I'm going to get this in my oven and I will be back. All right, so I'm going to start the icing for the chocolate potato cake. In here, I have sugar, butter, milk, and some more semi-sweet chocolates. I am going to bring this all to a boil and we're going to let it cook for a bit. When it's done cooking, we are going to add some vanilla and kind of beat it up. After I have it cooked, I will be back. Alright, so I do have this all melted together. We're going to bring it to a boil and then after that, we're going to let it simmer for a little while and then beat in our vanilla, and I will be back. All right, so I have my cake. It is done and out of the oven. My frosting is just about done. I just need to mix in the vanilla with that, and I will be back. All right, so I did add my vanilla into my frosting here. We're going to just whisk this until it's cooled and thickened. When that is done, I will be back. All right, so I have my frosting finished. I'm going to let this cool a little bit. I'm going to let my cake cool a little bit. And then I'm going to frost my cake. When everything is done, I will be back. All right, so my cake is done and I have it frosted. I do have to say it was quite a bit of frosting for the size of the cake, but that is okay. I do like a lot of frosting, chocolate frosting on my cakes. I am going to let this set a little bit longer and I will be back with my final thoughts after I try a piece. Alright, so I am back with my final thoughts on the chocolate potato cake. Um, it was okay. It had a really good flavor. Um, the first day I tried it, it was really crumbly. Um, the texture was better the next day after it had sat in our refrigerator for a little while and was cold. It held up better. It wasn't crumbly after that. So I don't know if it was just a little bit too warm yet when I had it the first time, but initially it was really crumbly. The frosting was really, really good, good on it. I did really like the frosting, but overall, I don't think I'm very inclined to make this cake again. It wasn't bad, just I feel like it was a little bit too much work for the end results. Um, it did take forever to grate the chocolates for it, um, and then having to cook the potato, and it was just a lot for a cake that was just all right. Um, it wasn't spectacular, it wasn't amazing. You know, can't say it's the best cake ever or anything like that. I can't say it was horrible because it did have a really good flavor to it. I just feel like the steps and the amount of work that went into it wasn't worth the end results. Um, if somebody really wanted me to make this cake, I would, but just to make it on my own, probably not. Um, I just wasn't overly impressed with it. Um, I would like to try a different potato cake recipe and see if that is better, a little simpler, maybe something that uses cocoa powder or like melted chocolate in it instead of the grated chocolates. Which honestly, the grated chocolate was my biggest complaint about this recipe. If I make it again, I might try sticking my chocolate in the food processor or seeing if I can chop it up really fine to make it a little bit easier than grating it. Um, it is not something that you can substitute melted chocolate or cocoa powder for because that would change the flavor of the cake too much, I think. With the spices in it, the grated chocolate did work well and it did give it a nice overall flavor. It was just, I don't know, like I said, just a bit much for what you got in the end. Um, So, with that being said, I will be back next week with another recipe. I am not going to do a recipe from Baking Yesteryear next week. Um, it is still pretty hot here, not as hot as it was a couple weeks ago, but we are still mid 80s and everything, and it's still hitting 80 degrees fairly early in the day where I am. Um, and my next recipe in Baking Yesteryear is the Lady Baltimore cake, which does have a boiled frosting. So I do want to try that when it is a little bit cooler in the mornings, at least, because usually when I do my baking for these videos is in the morning. Um, and I really don't want my oven on for an hour and a half or so to make the port cake. So we will be doing a different recipe next week. We will be doing the Woolworth's cheesecake, which is a really good recipe. I've had it quite a lot. It's been a family recipe for us, but honestly, I have never made it myself. So I am looking forward to that. Until then, good times, good food. Bye.